What does it mean to be a gaming classic? Not just a good or even a great game, but a classic. Everyone's answers are going to be different because no one has played every game, and a lot of times it comes down to timing. For example, games I immediately think of as classics that I've experienced are games like Crash Bandicoot 2, Medieval, Halo Combat Evolved, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, all the way up to games like Dark Souls, BioShock, and countless others. But my point is, I think a person's definition of a classic usually coincides with iconic gaming moments or experiences for them. When I started playing games, I was about 3 years old, growing up with a PS1 and PC, so my childhood classics are those types of games. And as I grew older, experiences like my first time playing Dark Souls made that game a classic in my mind. So everyone's answers are going to be different to that question, and again, let's not pretend everyone has experienced every single game. Okay? With all that being said, I'd never played Shadow of the Colossus before today. 16 years later, and of course I'd heard about the legend that is Shadow of the Colossus even all the way back in 2006, which is when it came out in Australia, okay? Don't come at me. I'd see it in my local EB games all the time. I had countless people telling me it's a gaming classic, it's the PS2's masterpiece, it's a must-have gaming experience, and yet, for some reason, the game just never really interested me. I mean, the box art was amazing, and I picked it up to have a look numerous times, but never pulled the trigger and sort of just let it be for a long time that despite the hype, it's just not a game I care to visit. That was until I was sitting around on my PS5 looking for a game to play, and for whatever reason, I saw Shadow of the Colossus in my ready to download games, and the timing just seemed right. Today was finally going to be the day I play a gaming classic. I'm going to finally see what all the hype is about and experience something truly special, and you know what? Despite these insane expectations, the game still managed to blow me away. I know, big shocker, the gaming classic is a good game, go figure, and that's sort of where I sit on this game as well, so instead of breaking everything down like I normally do, I'm also want to take you through my feelings and thoughts as a first time player, because I'd heard great things about Shadow of the Colossus, but first impression wise, I'll be honest, I was a little lost here. First of all, I had no clue what was going on with this story, no real idea what sort of gameplay loop I was getting into, but I wasn't expecting what is, in essence, a bit of a boss rush, which there's nothing wrong with that, but in the early game, the controls just felt so unnatural to me in the platforming and combat, even riding aggro just felt clunky. I was just a little lost. I saw glimpses of that classic, glimpses of what could make this game so special, but with some of these aspects and first impressions, I honestly thought I might have missed the boat on this one. Maybe I waited too long to finally play this game. I wasn't ready to give up on the game though, because again, I did see those glimpses of something special. And you know, story confusion aside, I really just felt I needed to get a handle on these controls and I'd be having so much more fun. And wouldn't you know it, by the 4th or 5th Colossus, I was hooked. Shadow of the Colossus has been on my mind since that moment, that click. And for me, that solely comes down to the gameplay loop. I truly adored being in this world, traversing the various landscapes with aggro, the light guiding our journey, searching for the next colossi, conquering them in spectacular ways, and immediately reflecting on that battle only to be swiftly thrown back to the start and make your way to the next one. I could see some finding this cycle repetitious, but for me what holds that feeling off is what are, for the most part, unique colossi, and how the terrain leading into the battle is pretty good at mixing it up from one encounter to another. The excitement comes from those battles, but I've got to be honest, I love spending time with aggro and running through fields, jungles and deserts, just soaking in the world and trying to make sense of this story, and it's these moments of going back and forth around this world that eventually builds up to moments in the story, like when aggro plummets to his believed death, which absolutely broke my heart, only work because you put the time in with him as you go from Colossus to Colossus. But the bread and butter, the cream of the crop, the piece de resistance are the Colossi battles. I mean, talk about a rush of adrenaline each and every time as you climb these behemoths, try and hold on for dear life, find those weak spots, and ultimately slay these creatures is incredible. Whether it be the gentle giants evoking that feeling of guilt after slaying, to the hide-and-seek style of battles, Colossi who fly or swim, the highlights, spectacles, and pure rush of battling these giants is non-stop. Personal favourites have to go to the likes of the Sand Snake and the terror of not only its design but how you battle this creature. The Swamp Pterodactyl or Sand Dragon both having an intense sense of danger as you battle not only to kill the creature but just stay on board. The Electric Eel that will make people with thalassophobia squirm and having that fear of drowning, these are just the encounters that immediately come to mind for pure rushes of adrenaline and excitement. That's not mentioning the battles that take on more of a puzzle solving element or platforming challenges, or the intense final encounter against the final Colossi, which feels like a marathon of terror, rage, and satisfaction. Sure, I wish the Colossi appeared just the once, instead of having some repeats, but even then the arenas themselves change it up enough that it never took me out of the experience. I will say the fourth Colossi was probably my least favourite as it involved a lot of waiting personally, but it wasn't outright bad, just when compared to the others was okay. Story-wise as well, Shadow of the Colossus just never really did it for me. It was intriguing, there was always something up with the mysterious voice getting us to slay the Colossi, but in the end, I just never really cared. I'm sure the story is an element many enjoy, and it's not bad. As I said, certain story moments did get to me, but I just felt like most of the story happened at the end, and by that point, I sort of was left confused and as a whole didn't really care. I was happy enough exploring this world, walking amongst and ultimately slaying these giant creatures, and that on its own, accompanied by the beautiful soundtrack, made for an experience that I simply will never forget. As you might have guessed, I'm kicking myself that I deprived myself of this experience for so long. I finally understand why this game is so beloved, why so many hold this game in such high regard with so much nostalgia. I may be well and truly late to the party, but with no nostalgia and enormous amounts of hype and expectations going into Shadow of the Colossus, I can wholeheartedly say this was one of my favorite gaming experiences ever, and what I define as not only a classic but a must-play experience. It's something special, and I'm so glad that I finally played it. Seeing and experiencing a game that would be so influential for so many games I would love going forward. It's not a perfect game, but it is no less an incredible game and an experience that will be on my mind for a long, long time. Thank you all so much for watching. I know this was a different take on this series. I just wanted to try something different, and when talking about a game like Shadow of the Colossus that is so beloved, I feel the only real perspective and differentiating factor is talking about my experience playing that game for the first time. Playing a game like this for the first time is something so many people wish they could go back and experience, and that's what I wanted to get across here. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave it a like because it helps let me know that you enjoyed yourself. Comment below your thoughts on Shadow of the Colossus, as well as any suggestions for some more classic games you want to see covered in the future. Shout out to the channel members Infamous Sir Hellfire, featuring Gagiano, Christian Valgag, Cloud Connection, and Jack2 Park for that extra level of support. I truly do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, go give my socials a follow if you fancy, at MayorHairBear. Join the Discord server to have a chat, and I'll catch you all in the next video.